really excited you can be here. So today we're diving in and talking about 5 steps to get funding on demand. And what I mean by that is to be able to get the money you need when you want to get it, not when banks want to get it, right? There's this whole myth out there that banks won't lend you money when you really need the money, right? They want to lend you money when everything's going great. Well, I'm going to teach you how to get money whenever you want to actually get money. I'm going to map out the exact 5 steps that we found have successfully helped over 50,000 people being able to get business credit financing. So what are we going to dive into today? We're going to talk about 5 steps to get funding on demand, when you need it, to get the money you need, when you actually need to get it. We're going to talk about how to beat the banks and become fundable. We're going to decode what lenders are really looking for that they're not telling you they're looking for. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to beat every one of their systems, right? Not illegally, not doing anything unethical. The bottom line is you can win the game if you know the rules to the game. But banks are playing by rules you don't know. And so it's really hard to win and get the money you need when you need it, when you don't even know what the lenders are really looking for. We're going to decode that, pull back the curtain, and I'm going to teach you exactly how to give them, how to exceed their standards to be able to get the money that you need. We're going to talk about the secret to automated approvals. Look, this is what we all really want. You've been there before. You applied for a credit card. You got that dreaded message that you'll hear by mail in 7 to 10 days. It's almost always a denial. And then on the other side, we get that immediate approval. We put in our information, the wheel turns, and bam, it says you're approved for 10 grand, 20 grand, 50 grand. What's happening there? Within milliseconds, the computer is underwriting that application. And if we understand exactly what it's looking for, then we can literally feed it, set our structure our business the right way, and feed the computer exactly what it wants to give us the automated approvals that we're looking for. This is just the key to not just being able to get approved for money, but being able to get approved for money without supplying a lot of cumbersome, burdensome documentation, and being able to get the approvals very quickly as well. We're talking about how to run your business to be fundable on demand. Look, there's a lot of things in how you handle your business that lenders are looking for and credit issuers are looking for. And if you meet the standards that they look for, well, then you're able to get money. And if you don't, you don't. It's the same as if you sell your business. If you ever want to exit and sell your business, then what you're doing now and how you structure and run the business ultimately controls how much that business is going to be worth. And there's a lot of things you could do right now to get a multiple of 5 or 10x what your profits may be. But if you don't do those things, then you might get 1x or 2x. I mean, literally, you could leave millions on the table. The same thing is very applicable when it comes to getting money, is how you're actually running the business, the things you're doing along the way with the financials, etc. The credit that you're obtaining for the business really have a lot of control and your ability to get money when you need it. So we're going to talk about how to set all that up as well to be able to get funding on demand, and how to get money as a startup, how to get money as a nonprofit, how to get money for expansion, growth, whether it be 10 grand or 500,000 or more. We're going to talk about how you can get money in these situations that most people struggle to get money. They think that you might think that you're in a high-risk industry, or might think that you're a brand new business, or you don't have revenues, or you don't have collateral, you don't have profit. You may have a list of things that you believe, possibly because people have told you, of why you can't get money. We're going to break all those barriers down today. I'm going to show you how to get around this, navigate it, so you actually are able to get money. By the way, if you're just coming in, give me a shout out. I always like to hear where you're coming in from. Tell me what industry you're in, and tell me what city and state you're in. I like to give you a shout out as we go today. So are you in the right place? Well, if you want to get the exact same funding formula that Fortune 500 corporations use to grow, you're in the right place. What I'm going to show you today is exactly what all of the largest publicly and privately owned companies are doing to get money. They just follow a formula, but what most small business owners don't know, you can follow the exact same formula and have success that they follow. They just have financial controllers. They have CFOs. They have a whole financial section of their company that's helping them do that. Today, I'm replacing that financial section to give you the education they have to be able to use that same formula that they're using to be able to access pretty much unlimited capital. We're talking about if you're in the right place, if you want uncapped growth potential with on-demand financing. Look, the bottom line is, if you have the ability to get money, nearly an unlimited supply when you need it, think about what you could do, like the acquisitions that you'd make, the things that you'd implement marketing strategy-wise, growth-wise, the people that you'd hire. Okay, we're going to talk about how to uncap that growth potential, because this is what holds you back. Anybody that's grown a 6, a 7, and 8-figure business will tell you, you grow, you build system structure, processes, then you get revenue increases. Then as you get bigger, all these things break. And then it's almost like you got to hit the brakes, stop, go back and fix the broken stuff to be able to get back to growth mode. It's one of the most frustrating things we ever deal with in growing businesses. But the reality is, when I look at all this money that people get from outside investors, they're using the money to be able to basically uncap their growth potential, to be able to hire the people and do the things and build the systems so they can continue to grow and not have all these stopping points along the way. So we're going to be discussing that today. We're going to talk about what to know exactly about getting approved, what you need to know that lenders are really looking for behind the scenes so you can meet their criteria and get approved. We're going to talk about how you can get unlimited access to business credit. I'm talking about $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 individual limits on credit cards, credit lines. We've got clients that even get upwards of 300,000 individual credit lines with people they do business with. How did they do it? I'm going to decode it all today. And we're going to talk about how you can get the best rates and terms for business financing because you deserve to. You just have to know what they're looking for. And I've spent my professional career in lending, and I can tell you that I speak in language of risk. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to a salesman today for an asset that I'm buying, and this is exactly what we're talking about. I'm like, I want to talk to the underwriter because I speak their language. I speak risk. I want to know what they're looking at with risk. So to know what I can do change-wise to lower the risk to make it easier on them and better on me. Okay, so we're going to talk about this, how you can get the best rates and terms you deserve to get. You just have to know like the rules of the game. And we're going to decode all of that today to make it easy for you to be able to come in and actually succeed. And again, don't forget to come in and tell me where you're coming in from. Tell me your industry. I always like to give you a shout out. I've got home health care from New Jersey. I've got health and beauty in the house as well. We're talking about Shopify stores. Yes, we're going to talk about how to get money from that today as well. We've got DeAndres from Birmingham, Alabama. 40 imaging studio. I love that. We're going to talk about that and how to get money for you in the transportation business. Thanks for coming in. And a bookkeeper and farmer. We're going to talk about things that will work for you as well. So give me a shout out. Tell me where you're coming in from. And let's talk a little bit about your industry so I can talk more about the funding for your specific industries. So look, if you're hanging out to the end of this training today, we're going to go probably 90 minutes before it's all said and done. And I'll stick around an unlimited time for questions. I speak as fast as I can that you can hear. And some people get bothered by as fast as I speak. But this is how fast my brain processes information. It's like even consciously trying to slow my step down, it's tough. Now, the good news is we're going to get through a lot of information in a very short period of time. But even then, I've got so much to decode for you that we're probably going to go about an hour and a half today. So if you stay to the end, then we're going to get you about $500 plus worth of value. 30 days of free credit monitoring with D&B Equifax Experience. If you're going to build business credit, you have to monitor business credit reports. It's $250 from the bureau. I'm going to get them for you for free. We're going to get you a finance assessment as well to talk through everything we discussed today: fundability, business credit building, what money you can get to be able to make sure that you can get the funding on demand as well. And again, that includes a funding qualification. So all of that I'm going to talk to you about at the very end of today's training before Q&A on how you can get all of that for free. So if you those that don't know me, here's a little bit about me. 20 plus years in the financial sector. I speak about this worldwide. I was just at the Mirage in Las Vegas weeks ago speaking about this. Before that, I was in Miami at the Convention Center speaking about this. I'm getting ready to go back to Vegas and Texas. I'm going all over. I speak about this stuff all over the place. I'm actually the author of 2 of the best-selling books on consumer and commercial credit as well. And you probably see me on places like Forbes, Entrepreneur, Inc. Magazine, all of which have been featured in our content. We regularly contribute for these sources. So when you're talking about business credit financing and you're reading in Forbes and Entrepreneur and Inc., we're contributors to a lot of these publications as well as being on Fox, ABC, NBC, all over podcasts and radio and TVs. And I only tell you this stuff just so you know that, like, I'm not just here because it's worked for me. I've been doing this and teaching business credit for about 12 years now. And when I did it, nobody was talking about this. Now all these overnight gurus that come up for all these cheat courses and training and this and that. And the reality is a lot of them have done it for themselves. And now they're trying to teach the masses how to do it. But what we've learned helping 50,000 people through this process is that what works for one person doesn't work for everybody else. And that's why I'm telling you all this today, because I actually oversee the largest business credit partner division of loan brokers that are out there offering business credit financing. We train them what they know. And as a company, we've got quite a reputation for doing what I'm about to teach you today and what we've learned along the way. A+ rating with BBB, hundreds of video testimonials online, hundreds of real approvals you can access on our website. Nearly 50,000 business owners we've helped. Entrepreneurial company, best entrepreneurial company in America by Entrepreneur Magazine. We're constantly on the Inc. 5000 list. Every time we've even submitted any information to them, we've been on one of the fastest growing companies in the country. So I only tell you this stuff just so you know, I'm not some overnight guru that learned how to get financing for myself and now I'm teaching you. This is the combined knowledge of 50,000 business owners that you're about to get, so you get the roadmap to actually succeed. So let's start with the basics. What can you build with on-demand funding, right? Well, look, when we look at all these statistics, the majority of businesses, the vast majority of business failures are due to issues with cash flow. Now, if you look at why businesses fail, the vast majority of all failures have to do somewhat with money. But just this one statistic from US Bank is interesting. 82% of business failures just happen because the business owner doesn't have enough cash on hand, period. That's why most fail. And a staggering 90% of business owners agree that this is a serious problem for them. Matter of fact, more than half of all business owners say this is what they worry about weekly, is just getting the money they need to actually grow the business. I've been there. I don't know about you, but I can't tell you how many times I've thought about not having enough money to make payroll. I don't know about you, but I can't tell you how many times I put money, my personal money, into the business to meet payroll. Right. So if you've been there, you can relate to what's going through. These are the problems we think about when we're supposed to be with our significant other and our kids, and our brains are thinking about how to make payroll. We can't help ourselves because these are our responsibilities. I want to free up that brain space so you can be present with your family, but that only happens if we figure out how to solve what I call here the cash access problem. You see, that's the issue. It's not that there's not enough money. You're going to learn today. There's more than enough money out there for you to do what you want to do, to build the business of your dreams, to be able to step out of the day-to-day operations of the business and be able to spend time with your family, right? That's why we build businesses. Today, I spent the morning of my kids' school. It was the first day of school. I took them there. I hung out. My daughter's going through orientation. Yesterday, I was at the kids' school. I can make time in my day to do these things because I've been able to get the money I need to build a business where I can step out to spend time where it's more valuable, which to me is with my family, especially with my kids. When my kids need me to be at a soccer game or a football game. That's actually why I started a business. I don't know about you. My parents were really hard workers. But man, my dad was never around. He was working all the time. He'd work into the evening. He'd work into the weekends. And sometimes I would wonder if he did that just because he didn't want to be around us. But the reality was that wasn't the case at all. He just needed to do that to support his family. And I always looked at that and said, man, I'm going to own a business so I can come and go as I want to. So I can go to my kid's soccer game and basketball game and football game. And I do that now. That's the life that I want, right? I'll leave at 2:30 to go to my son's basketball game, for example. So that's what I want for you if you don't have that. We got to get you the ability to work on the business, not in it. But we can only get there if we can overcome these statistics and solve this cash access problem. Now, here's the great news. Your possibilities are endless when you can get money on demand. You get unlimited access to business credit cards at almost every retailer, vendor, gas station, in a lot of cases without a guarantee or credit check. Or if you need a guarantee, you can strategically use a personal guarantee to not use it with everything. We talk about getting business loans when you need them, not when the world thinks it's convenient for you, right? Like if a recession happens and every sudden consumer confidence drops dramatically, your sales are going to slow down. And that's when you need money to carry you through. That's when everybody needs money, but they're only going to let certain people get it. So we got to get you money in those circumstances where you really need it. We're going to uncap that growth potential so you can grow as fast and as big as you want to. Look, I got friends that run lifestyle businesses. They make $1 million, $2 million, $3 million bucks, and that's all they ever want to do. I got friends that make $500,000 bucks, and less than that, that's all they want to do. I've got friends that are building billion-dollar businesses right now. So that's your choice, and you shouldn't let the lack of access to capital to be able to hold you back from accomplishing your dream. I'm going to teach you how to uncap that so there is no limited growth potential. You can grow as big and as fast as you want to. Literally, it's like having a money machine. And I know that might sound a little crazy, but think about it. If you can access money on demand when you need it and be able to get as much as you need, then that's really the key to being able to grow. But there's a formula, a 5-step formula you've got to accomplish to be able to get there. And that's exactly what we're going to be decoding today. Tavanda's coming in from Houston, Texas. Thanks for coming in and saying hello. Business Consulting in Denver's in the house. Utah, Salt Lake City is here. Andre's taking over a restaurant that needs money for inventory. We're going to talk about how you can tap in and be able to get cash here today as well. Thanks for coming in. And Cindy, thank you very much, from Holistic Health and Wellness Coach. And you're an early childhood educator for Houston, Texas. Thank you so much for that, for what you do, Cindy, because that's very, very valuable to our youth. I can't tell you how much I appreciate teachers and being able to be an educator as well. Terry Howie from Delaware is in the house as well. My husband and I have substance abuse recovery house. Well, congratulations, and thanks for everything you're doing to help all the people in need. Thanks for everybody for telling me where you're coming in from in the industry. So here's an example. This is a startup that tapped into a program we're going to talk about today. Got $61,000 plus in unsecured credit lines. You know how many people tell me you can't get money as a startup? It's not true. You absolutely can if you understand the formula. And here's an example of a company out of Illinois that did just that. Here's their actual approvals, where they were able to tap in and get $61,000 in less than 3 weeks. We're going to talk about how to make that possible for you today as well. Look, it is possible, but it's not easy. You got to know that there's not a lot of resources that are going to decode what I'm teaching you today. The rules are constantly changing as well, and getting stuck can take you years of setback. I oftentimes say that our clients cut years off the business credit building process, because it's very true. If you don't know what you're doing, then it takes you years to accomplish what you can in just weeks or months. If you do, and you only get a fraction of as much money as what you want to get, and pay higher terms. I don't know about you. Have you ever tried to apply for a credit card loan and got less money than you wanted to get? I don't know. Type a yes if that applies to you. If you've ever applied for a loan or applied for a credit line, applied for a credit card, got less money than you wanted to get, did that happen to you? Type in yes. Or type in yes if you paid a higher interest rate than you wanted to. You paid more interest or got a worse term than you thought you should have got. I want to know how many people here actually are having that exact same issue that we're talking about right now. And I got Noel got a car on Turo, put everything on a home address, was wondering about what to do about that. We're going to decode that for you today as well. And a lot of yeses coming in here. And hello from Chicago, Richmond, Ocala, Florida, Los Angeles in the play house, Atlanta. Catering and food delivery is in the house. Washington, D.C., Charlie's Angels Healthcare. So we got a lot of people from a lot of industry. A lot of people saying, yes, I have that exact same problem. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, is how to get a real solution for unlimited growth and not have those years of setback and be able to get the terms you actually deserve. So look, is it even worth trying on your own? Well, do you know who to work with? Or how do you keep track of any changes? What do you do if after your attempts don't work? You can spend countless hours chasing bad information. This is very true. So in my world, a new competitor has come into the space, right? And they're not really a competitor. They actually used to be a partner of ours, and they grabbed this white label software for business credit building, right? And they called it black label or something else other than white. But the interesting thing is that all they're doing, I swear to you, they're using a system that we created in 2000. Okay, my COO Megan created this in 2000. It's 22 years old. And the information, as a matter of fact, if you look at the screenshots of their website, you could even see, like, remember the little person that used to walk on the screen and talk back in the 2000, like 20 years ago? We were like, oh my gosh, we've never seen that technology before. But you could still see that old person from 22-year-old tech on the screen. But the problem with that is that they tout 2,000 or 3,000 vendors. And I've got access to these systems many times in the past. And what's funny is that when I Google the names of their vendors, the vendors don't even exist anymore. It's not even that they don't report to the reporting agencies anymore. They don't even exist. Like literally, they're touting hundreds and hundreds of vendors that if you Google them, the companies went out of business decades ago, and they're still in their system as a vendor. So you can imagine trying to navigate 3,000 vendors. A third of them don't even exist anymore. Another third don't even report to the reporting agencies. And the other third, some information is accurate, some's not. So it's almost better to not have that information than have bad information, because now you take action on bad information and it gets you stuck. And we see this all the time. I'll give you a simple example. A lot of people out there still, and a lot of these places that have a 2,000 or 3,000 vendors, they're using Quill as a vendor, a startup vendor, but Quill doesn't issue startup credit anymore. They haven't for years. There's so many places tout gas cards from WEX, but WEX doesn't offer no guarantee gas cards anymore. We were the first company to break that information. So this is what slows you down and creates problems. It's just bad information. And that's the problem you got to look into. I got to teach you the roadblocks you're going to run into before we know how to get over them. So you got to be careful here. If you're not talking to somebody that's helped tens of thousands of people, then you probably want to not consider listening to that person, right? We've seen the science on this is that an expert level has 10,000 hours in that topic before they become an expert. I look at this on clients you help. If somebody hasn't helped 10,000 plus clients through this process, it's probably not somebody you want to listen to, because again, the problem there is they just don't have the best up-to-date information. So some hurdles to look out for there along the way. Now, when you do this right, here's an example of what it looks like. Here's Herman, quote, "With Credit Suite, your one-on-one consultant calls you within 24 hours of signing up. They call you at least 5 times a week in the first 2 weeks. And then after that, even though it's been several years, I've been working with the team, my one-on-one consultant still calls me every other Wednesday without fail. And that's absolutely incredible. My favorite line of credit I got using Credit Suite's a $10,000 Amazon card. I used to purchase things low and sell high on different marketplaces. I was also able to get a $40,000 Amex card. None of my accounts show my personal credit report, so if I max them out, it doesn't hurt me personally. So I was able to purchase 2 properties in Cleveland, Ohio, and it's been a blessing." So I show you this for a couple different reasons. First of all, you can see that we found coaching through the process is what ultimately helps cut the process down. But the other thing is think about how he's doing it. Can you relate to this? He's running multiple businesses here. He's got an Amazon business where he buys wholesale, sells retail. Then he comes in, and now he's coming in and he's being able to purchase properties and flip properties as well, on top of the fact that he's now in credit and financial consulting. So he's using these multiple types of funding to be able to fund multiple business endeavors, which you might be able to relate to as well. Now, here's some approvals so you can get an idea of what's possible. $7,500 Amazon account. Here's another account here. $1,200 gas card. Here's a $10,000 approval as well. A $3,000 and $1,000 approval is a Sunbelt approval on here. Here's a $10,000 approval with Sunbelt. Here's a Chase Inc. 0% intro for 12 months, and more credit cards. So you get an idea of what's possible. This is just business credit. It's not even the lending side of things. Today, I'm going to talk about the lending and the business credit side to open up the most capital. But you got to start here. You got to start with understanding the lender and secret issue, or the credit issuer's kind of secret formula for approval. Because if you understand what those computers are looking for, in a lot of cases, 80% of the approval happens just with how you structure your business, not your income, not your credit score. It's not that other stuff. When we look at why most loans are denied, believe it or not, as crazy as this is, most of it has nothing to do with you. It's not your credit score. It's not your income of your business or how long you've been in business for. It's just how your business is set up and structured. If you structure your business where it looks legitimate and credible, then that's 80% of the hurdle with getting money. And it's also where most business owners fail because they make some common mistakes that I'm about to decode. And by the way, that's TJ75 Indianapolis. I'm from Elwood, Indiana, right around the corner from you. We've got Ron in here from Dania Beach, and we've got Fitzgerald, Georgia, Miss Mott's place. I love that. Lake Mary is in the house as well, and York, Pennsylvania is in the house as well. So events from Virginia is coming in. Hey, don't know why I have a 650 credit score. Just paid a $5,000 loan. We'll talk about that when I get to the Q&A. If you have questions or specific scenarios, I'm going to talk through all those with you when we get to Q&A here today as well. So we call this fundability, and this is what's interesting. When we got into this, just a real brief overview, because you could probably relate to this of why I'm here. I owned a mortgage company, built it. It was successful, $1 million business. Mortgage crisis occurs, shut down the business overnight, defaulted on my business debts. Business debts show up on my personal credit report. Business debtors wipe out my personal bank account, ruin my credit, take every dime that I have. So then I realized what business credit is years later, and I decided, since there's no education about this topic, to become an educator to teach other people what I'm learning about it, so that way you can avoid the unwanted fate that I had. So that's how this started. But then years later, a decade later, what I've come to find out is there is an entire secret universe behind the scenes that these lenders have that you don't know. They're accessing secret credit reports through places like LexisNexis. They're looking at things we never even thought they were checking, comparing our application against what's on our Facebook profile or what's on our website or what's on the Secretary of State, the kind of address we have and phone number. All of this ties into the ability to get approved. And when we started tweaking things, we take somebody who got denied. They came to us and they said, I got denied at my bank for a loan. I said, well, let's make one change. We updated their Secretary of State to match their application and resent them back to the same bank, and they got approved. We do this again and again. Tens of people, hundreds of people, thousands of people, tens of thousands of people. And what we came to realize was, oh my gosh, this is fantastic news. We all thought we were getting denied because our personal credit had issues, or we weren't in business long enough, or our business didn't have any revenue yet because we were starting. We thought that was why we were getting turned down. But what we found was that was a completely different story than reality. The reality is that the vast majority of denials that we were converting into approvals for people weren't because their credit score went up or their income went up or their time in business went longer. It was just because we tweaked this basic formula of what these computers are looking for. And it was like this. It was like, instead of applying in a computer going X, bad, 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 we just turned it all to green check marks. Yes, yes, good, 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 good. Bam, automated approval. It was mind-blowing. And we did it again, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people. And what we found is that it all comes down to this thing called fundability. It's what separates your personal finances from your business financing. It's what opens up business credit. It's what helps us get approved for the most money at the best terms. It's what opens up unlimited funding potential. It's what lenders want to see. It's why they give money to the big companies, privately and publicly owned, because those companies meet the criteria of the kind of avatar of customer they want. You're familiar with that, right? You probably know the demographic of your customer, the avatar, what they look like. How old are they? Are they male? Are they female? What geographic area do they live in? Well, that's exactly the same way banks are. They want a certain avatar. They want a company that's set up where they're legitimate and credible, not somebody that overnight went and created a business here in Florida on sunbiz.org. Our Secretary of State went to IRS and got an EIN and went to the bank and opened a bank account, which, by the way, I've tested. I can do in 1 hour. In 1 hour, I can set up a new entity, get an EIN, and open my bank account in 1 hour. Less than an hour. I've been able to test with multiple times. They don't want that guy. They want the person that's legitimately building a real business. So that's the perception we have to paint for them. And we found there's over 125 factors into fundability. And it is a little bit of a journey because once you get your business set up the right way, then you need to make sure that fundability is always in check. So that way you're able to get the money you need when you actually need it. Here's an example of what this looks like. Okay, and I'll tell you a little bit more about Kylan's story. So from Kylan, quote, I believe the Business Finance Suite's the best step-by-step paint-by-number system to securing anywhere from 50 to 250 grand of business credit. That reports in your business credit report, helps you separate your personal and business credit. What I like most, you have access to actual coaches that will take you by the hand and walk you through the system and answer specific questions that you have related to your business. Amazing opportunity for small business owners. So Kylan was a gym teacher that actually wanted to get out of it, own his own business. He came in, he struggled to do so, came into us, learned fundability, loved what we taught, decided to offer business credit financing as a service, built a 7-figure business his first full year, a whole team of salespeople out there growing the company, all because he started with a fundable foundation, got his fundability in check, and then from there was able to actually come in and succeed and be able to get a lot of money in funding. I mean, multiple 6 figures. I think he might be maybe have made it to our 7-figure club as well. And again, this is what this looks like when you start getting these kind of approvals. $16,000 MasterCard, $4,000, $3,000 at Sam's Club, and $10,000. Here's a $20,000 approval here. And again, I can go on and on and on. I mean, Bank of America approval. Literally, our website has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these. And if you ever keep an eye on that section, we update it every single week with more and more and more. But you got to take control of your financing with fundability. So that's what it all starts to be able to get the funding on demand. It's what gives you that professional operation. It's what builds trust with lenders and credit issuers. It's what avoids the appearance of the application and you being fraudulent. Okay. And that's what we forget is that banks and credit issuers are looking for two things. First thing, is this person real or is it fraud? And secondly, do they meet our criteria? Well, we got to get past both those checks before our income, our time in business, any of that stuff even matters, right? In a lot of cases, more than half of the time applications are denied, banks think the application's fraudulent. So think about that. If you have a buddy and your buddy applied for a loan and got denied, and you applied for a loan and got denied, statistically, one of you got denied because the lender thinks that the application's bogus. And they think that's bogus because your information doesn't match. Like it just doesn't match up. Like a common reason this happens is that we come in, we go get our Secretary of State set up, then we get our address, then we get our phone number, then we get our website and our email, and we never go update this. This happens with our Facebook page. It happens with our Yelp page. It happens with everything. We've been dabbling a lot with local SEO. And local SEO starts by putting citations out there, yellow pages, all these listings. But then when something changes in the business, all that information's mismatched. Okay, Google won't even set up Google business profiles when there's mismatched information out there. And credit issuers, it's Google, this well run so deep of all the info that's out there about our business and it not matching up. And anytime there's a question of the legitimacy of it because the information doesn't match, that's what oftentimes, more than half the time, results in us getting denied. Okay, so we've got to set ourselves apart, right? We want to be the best. And so when I can tell you 10 years through this process of lending, or 2 decades through this process, I should say, what I've learned and when I teach people to process loans is that your goal is for a processor to see a loan and go, boop, top of file. I don't know about you, right? I like easy wins. So my to-do list every day at work has easy wins. It has complicated stuff where I might not get results for days or weeks, but then it also just has simple stuff that doesn't take a lot of time where I get an easy win, right? And I get something off my desk. I got something done, and it didn't take a lot to get it done. That's what underwriters want. So they kind of put those easy wins at the top of the pile where they're like, oh, this one's from Ty's office. Top of the pile. It's going to be solid. Boop, 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 go through it in a fraction of the time. And this is what I teach top people that underwrite loans. You want to be that person that gets picked out and put on the top because they know you're an easy win. You know you're going to be able to make it through the file. That's what we got to think about from their computers. We want their computers to just ace the test. We want them to come in and be able to automatically want to approve us because we're different than everybody else because our business has all check marks. We meet all their criteria. That's what unlocks unlimited growth potential. That's what unlocks unlimited business credit. That's what gets you approved for financing quickly. That's what helps you protect your business money, cash flow, because you can use credit and loans and credit lines to finance the business while keeping your cash in the actual bank. And it all comes down to strengthening that application, especially when we've got areas where we lack, like personal credit, right? If we've got personal credit issues, there's plenty of stuff we can do that are compensating factors to make lenders happy, but we've got to set our business up where they want to give us money, where we set ourselves apart from the competition. And here's an example of this. I'm going to give you this case study from Dr. Brandon. So he basically, I'm not going to read all this to you, but he had a tax lien for $400,000. He had bad personal credit. He tried to get money at his bank and multiple other places and didn't come to our partner to be able to get money. He came to our partner as a friend to ask how he could shut down the business where the IRS didn't chase him personally. Look at this guy, top right picture. I mean, he loves what he does. Here's him delivering twins, an OBGYN doctor, absolutely loves what he does. And he's coming to our partner saying, how do I shut down my business because I can't get money? Why can't you get money? I don't have business credit. My personal credit's bad. My bank and nobody else will touch me. So we got in here and started fixing fundability. And then once we got that fixed, we started getting him multiple approvals from multiple sources. He got the money he needed and he paid off the IRS lien. All in all, he got over $1.5 million, opened up a second practice, even ran for political office. So fundability is the difference between somebody shutting down their door because the IRS owes them, they owe money to the IRS, and somebody actually being able to come in and expand and double, even triple their business. That's the difference between getting this right because it wasn't. Yeah, his credit was still 580, and we still got him $1.5 million bucks. How did we do it? Because we figured out the fundability and what was wrong with it and created the perception that lenders and credit issuers want to actually have. Okay. And New York is in the house as well. Hey, I'm an Ultimate member. Awesome, man. Thanks for becoming a client. Great Age Consulting Group. Congratulations. Thanks for joining the team. I'm looking forward to working with you as well. Okay, so will this work for you? Well, look, even if you qualify, most loan applications get denied because of fraud. We talked about that. Lenders fight fraud by matching all of these different places. See, this is one of the biggest secrets I've learned going through this process is that what happens is lenders are accessing credit reports we don't even realize that they are. We don't know that they're getting Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, Experian. Matter of fact, Entrepreneur Magazine reports that 90% of business owners don't even know anything about business credit reports. We don't know they're getting LexisNexis, which has all of our judgments and public record information, businesses we've owned through the life of it. We don't know that there's a small business financial exchange of banks that openly share information. We don't know that when we put information on a Wells Fargo application for a credit card, that Chase sees that data. And we don't know that Regions Bank sees that data. And we don't know that all these other banks are accessing that same data. So they're sharing data and getting it from third-party data aggregators behind the scenes. And again, we don't realize this is happening. It's why so many of our applications get denied. We think that they're getting information that we're supplying to them, then maybe looking at our personal or business credit reports. We don't realize there's all these other places they're getting data from. But once we realize that and we create the perception that they want to see in all these places, that's when we actually can come in and actually be successful. So again, this is the way that we've helped tens of thousands of people through this. And that's the step 1 of 5 we've got to dive into today. We've got to create a business that's separate from us personal. We have to start separating personal guarantees. We have to give our business its own identity. That's what helps us protect our personal liability and get away from guarantees. It's how we create an asset that lenders want to give money to. So they're not looking at us, they're looking at the entity. And we can set the entity up the way that they want it set up to be able to get the money that we need. We can properly set this up. We separate the business from us. And this is where business credit building, which we'll talk about today, really becomes essential. But we need to get a business name that reflects that we're not in a high-risk industry. We need to understand what our industry code even is. It's called an NAICS code. The code's what industry we're actually in. It's used by the IRS and the SEC and lenders and credit issuers and insurance companies. But I'll ask you a question, because I like to ask this whenever I talk about the topic. Do you know what your NAICS code is? If you don't, say no in the chat or in the comments. And if you do, tell me what the code is. Like, put your chest out because you're proud and type the actual code in. I'm interested to see here of everybody here. And we've got, we'll have a lot of people here when we talk about actually how many are on the webinar and how many are on the live. So go ahead and type it in. How can a nonprofit benefit? Turi, we'll talk about that. But a lot of the money we're going to talk about today works just for nonprofits. If you know what your NAICS code is, get it in. I see a lot of no. No, I don't know. I'm in transportation. I don't know what my code is. No, I don't know. No, I don't. So again, this is the problem. Think about this. You want a lender to give you money, but you don't even really know what industry you're in, or even worse. You go into your bank and they say, you're setting up a new bank account. What do you do? And you say, I do consulting. And you make it as general as possible, and you're letting that lender choose the industry for you. Typically, they put you in high risk. Then they tell a bunch of other lenders because they all share information. And before you know it, you haven't even got your business started, and you're already seen as high risk because you let somebody else decide that for you. No, not sure what my NAICS code is. So far, nobody has responded yes with what the code is. So keep that in mind. Of everybody. And I stand in front of stages with hundreds or even thousands of people. And typically less than 5% ever even know the industry NAICS code that they're in. But lenders and credit issuers use this to make all kinds of decisions. I'll give you an example of how deep this well goes. The business credit reporting agencies have comparison scores on their credit report. And these comparison scores compare your business and how it ranks against other people in your industry. Well, if you don't have your industry right, they're not going to have it right. And they're automatically comparing you to people that aren't even in your industry because they don't even know the industry that you're in. Even worse, they assign risk based on industry. So I see all kinds of people with very low credit scores because the bureaus don't like the industry the person's in, but the person's not even being judged based on the right industry on their credit reports. So this is where we've got to get this stuff done right. If we can get a business license from our county, state, we want to do so. We need to get an EIN from the IRS. That's what business credit's linked to. We need to have a name that means that we're not in a high-risk industry. We need to know what our NEICS code is. We need to have a separate address for the business. Let me give you one simple example of this. So we help a lot of businesses. We're just working on something right now to test a lot of businesses setting up Google business profiles and helping them through that process. And what I found that's very interesting is that if you use an iPostal address or a Regis of virtual office, if that address is associated with another business, then Google will not approve the Google business profile. They won't do it. But if it's not, they won't. So we've actually been able to come in and not get a Regis address approved with Google, but being able to get an iPostal address at a fraction of the cost approved. Why? Because your address matters. You need to have a separate address for the business, and we don't want that business, that address to be associated with other business. If you Google that address and everybody else's, you got to get your business phone number set up that's separate from your mobile phone, from a personal phone. You got to get your listings set up. There's all kinds of places you need to list your business for it to be credible. Places like Yelp or 411. You need to have a business website, an address, an email address that's a professional email address. This is all the stuff that gives you the ability and perception of being credible. We want to start building business credit. We want to create credit profiles with D&B, Equifax, Experian to show our business can stand on its own, that our business is responsible. Now, think about what happens if we've done this. We know where we set up our business the right way. Our business has a separate address, a separate phone number that's linked just to it. It has a professional website that reflects what we do, a professional email address. We have a license that shows the validity of our business. We have a name and an NAICS where we clearly understand our industry. When they ask what industry I'm in, I say I'm a software publisher, 56894. I can literally say, here's the exact NAICS code and the industry. So they know that I know what I'm talking about. Then they go secretly behind the scenes and they send this information to all these reporting agencies. And then guess what they find? The reporting agencies all have the correct info too. Now we've got a credit profile with D&B. We've got a credit profile with Equifax. We've got a credit profile with Experian. Here's what's weird. The name of the business, the address, the phone number, the website, it all matches. What the credit bureaus have is the same as on the credit report, and that's the same as Secretary of State, and that's the same as Yelp and Bing and Yahoo and Google Business Profile. It's all equal. Now, when we have that business, that's a business that somebody wants to win money to, because that's not somebody doing something as a hobby to see if it works. That's somebody building a legitimate business, right? Somebody doesn't put in that effort to create that if they don't have a legitimate business. And that is what they're looking for. That is the first step, and the first key step to opening up unlimited funding is understanding that when we create the perception of having legitimate, credible business, we go from like their opinion being down here to our opinion being up here. And we also need to realize that 9 out of 10 business owners aren't doing it. So we all of a sudden put ourselves on the top of that underwriter's pile, although it's a computer doing it, because now all of a sudden they realize this business is legit. These others are questionable at best. That is why we've got to make this the very first step, is being able to build that fundable foundation. Now, let me show you what happens when you get it right. Another case study here from Psalm. Quote, my business is Dragon Gym, a martial arts studio that was founded in 1973 by my instructor, Diego, and took over by my partner and I 10 years ago. About a year and a half ago, my partner and I decided within 18 months we were going to open our second location. We got connected with Credit Suite, and we accelerated that and did it only 6 months instead of 18. And getting the financing meant that we could start fulfilling our dream to have 10 or more locations across the country. Do you want to grow? Let me ask you a question. Do you want to expand? That's exactly what Psalm wanted to do. But in Psalm's world, he owns a gym. And his growth is limited to the geographic area around his gym. So for him to grow, he's got to open another gym somewhere else and another gym somewhere else. And as you can imagine, that's a lot of money. He's got to do the build out. He's got to get the pads. He's got to get the fake dummy things that these guys beat up and nunchucks and all the stuff that's associated with gyms, right? Weightlifting stuff. So again, we help them come in, understand the importance of fundability, then get business credit, then get startup funding. credit line hybrid. And then he was able to get that second gym open in 6 months. I think he opened a third gym within that 18-month time period. And right now he's on the process of opening another 5. So think about that. Fundability done, being able to build business credit, get financing, and now goes from 1 location to nearly 7 or 8. And what's crazy is that his instructor, Diego, owned the gym for 30 years and had 1 location. These guys have owned the gym less than like 7 years and are now working on 8 total locations. The difference is one of them knew how to get capital, one of them didn't. And this is what happens in your business when you start understanding and decoding this formula. And by the way, that's TJ75 here. I'm going to pull this up on the screen. Knows the NAICS code. He says, this is my NAICS code. This is fantastic. Okay. And only person so far, I don't know. Wait a minute. Annette Briley came in and knew hers. Drea came in. Transportation doesn't know theirs. And I've got Charlie's here. I've got a handful of people that actually know the NAICS codes, and congratulations to those people that don't, and a lot of knows as well. Okay, and Tia Jenkins knows it as well. Yvonne. So we went from a lot of knows to some of you actually are successful, and this is why it's important that you go through the training and learn these things, because if you don't, then you don't know those things. You don't have that. You're not able to have that kind of success. Okay, so next we got to get business credit reports. It's a major pillar of fundability. It's the key to being able to get lending. It's the key to being able to get business credit cards. It's the key to getting around personal guarantees, because it's used by lenders and credit issuers and vendors and clients and competitors and prospects and insurance companies. They're all looking at your business credit reports. Your credit reports are public. Anybody that wants them can get them. So you got to build them because it's a large part of your reputation here. Okay. And the problem with business credit is that you will be issued failing business credit scores if you have no reports. This is the majority of calls that I get. The majority of panicked phone calls that we get sound like this. Oh my gosh, I just applied for a loan, a credit card, an auto loan, and I got denied. And they said it's because my business credit is bad. I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. And we pull the business credit reports, and it's not that it's bad, it's that it's non-existent. They have no negative on there whatsoever. Okay. And then as a result, the business credit reporting agencies gave him failing scores. Now let's think about this in 2 parts. First of all, can you imagine that? Can you imagine being given bad consumer credit scores just because you never built consumer credit? That's what happens in the business world. The second part of that is the credit bureaus are saying something very important. They're saying this business, it is about as higher risk as you can get just because they don't have business credit. So from lenders, credit issuers, suppliers, insurance companies, the bureaus, they all look at a business that doesn't have business credit as extremely high risk. And this is what they're looking at behind the scenes when you're trying to apply for credit. You ignored business credit. They pulled your reports. They see you have failing scores because you have nothing on your reports. And they're denying you based on this. And by the way, they're not telling you that because they don't have to. See, in the consumer credit world, if I'm denied because of my consumer credit scores, the bureaus have to tell me, or the credit issuer has to tell me that. But it's not required in the business world. So this accounts for a lot of denials, and you might not even know that that's happening. Now, here's the great news. With even one account reported on your business credit report, you'll go from a failing score to a phenomenal score if you've paid that bill as agreed. And as you continue to get more and more credit, you continue to get higher and higher and higher recommendations of credit. I oftentimes show this on trainings where I can pull up business credit reports, and you can see the more accounts they add to their business credit reports, the higher the recommendation of credit goes from the bureaus. So the credit bureaus tell lenders and credit issuers how much money you and I should be issued. So when I asked earlier, have you ever not got as much money as you wanted to? And a lot of people were like, yeah, that's me. I applied and I didn't get nearly as much as I wanted to. Well, do you realize that the credit bureaus are telling lenders and credit issuers how much money you should be given? Because that's what happens. And if you don't build your business credit, then the amount they recommend is very low. And that's what's contributing you to getting less approvals than what you want. Now, the good news is now that we know what the problem is, we just have to fix it by building business credit. And there's a lot of other benefits in doing so. We get very high limit accounts. So in the business world, 10, 20, 30, $50,000 individual credit limit is very common. Our clients get there in about 3 months to 6 months to $30,000, $50,000 limits. So the limits are way higher than consumer credit, and you can avoid personal guarantees in a lot of this. You can avoid personal credit checks. You can save money on all kinds of insurance as well. So a lot of this is beneficial to help you grow the business. And yes, people ask, what about my startup? What about my nonprofit? Yeah, this works too. Business credit doesn't matter if you're a startup or if you're for profit. It doesn't matter if you just started your business or you're actually a seasoned business. If you built your fundability the right way, you still are able to come in here and build business credit as well. You just have to make sure that your business is set up where it's fundable. And when you do and build that fundability foundation we talked about in step one, now you're continuing to build on your fundability because business credit's really a core pillar of business credit. And when you get your access to credit, that's what frees up cash flow. And what I mean by that is that when I have an expense, when I have something I have to buy, I have choices of how I buy that thing. I can go get a loan and get that money and buy it. I can use a credit card and buy it on the credit card. I could use my debit card or write a check for it and come out of my bank account. But I want to have that choice. If we want to build unlimited growth potential for our business, then we need to have the choice of what we buy. So if I want to use an American Express card to be able to pay for $1 million worth of Facebook ads, which we do every year, then we want to get all the points from that American Express card that we get and use those points to pay for all of our travel. We literally save tens of thousands of dollars every year on travel because we use points that we get from credit cards because we're choosing to buy things on credit cards instead of cash. Then we take our cash to pay off the credit cards before interest has occurred. It's a great system. But you have to have access to credit to be able to make those kind of choices. And that's what business credit will actually do for you, because there's actually hundreds of business credit cards and business credit lines that are available. And you can build a business credit portfolio that helps you get all kinds of money and makes it way easier to be able to get the money that you need at the terms you want to get. And by the way, these two things, how much money you get, the credit bureaus tell lenders and credit issuers how much to give you. So if you want to get higher approvals, this is the key. And your credit score, how it reflects how you pay your bills, that directly correlates with the interest rate you'll pay. So if you ever feel like you've been charged more interest than you should or didn't get as much money as you wanted to get, well, that's because your business credit's not very well established. You got to fix that problem. And that's what opens up the door for this unlimited capital. Not to mention, it gets you lower insurance premium. It helps you win government contracts. It helps you get specific rewards programs and all kinds of rewards points on credit cards. It helps you get better terms from suppliers and streamline employee expenses as well. So there's a ton of additional benefits you're getting as well just because you're building your business credit. Okay. There's no reason not to get it, especially if you have damaged personal credit. If you have damaged personal credit, you need to start immediately building your business credit because you need an asset to offset the weakness of lower personal credit. Because just think about this. From a lender's perspective, I want to give you a credit line. You want me to give you a credit line, a credit card, or a loan, right? So I'm going to pull your personal credit. And your personal credit reflects that it's sketchy, if best, of how you pay your bills. A lot of stuff you paid on time. A lot of stuff you didn't. Some stuff you even let default altogether. So when I'm a lender or credit issuer, that doesn't give me a lot of peace of mind that you're going to pay me when I see that. Now, what if I see that, but then I pull the credit for the business and it's phenomenal? I see 10 accounts on the business credit reports. I see somebody's giving you 10, 20, 30, $40,000 limit accounts, and you're using those accounts, and you're not just paying them, but you're paying them early every month because business credit scores reflect how early you pay. So you're paying these bills early every month. Then Experian, Dun & Bradstreet, and Equifax say, give this person a $30,000 limit. That's what they deserve to get. It's a night and day difference. Now what happens in the lender or credit issuer goes, wow, that's interesting. So what I see is an entrepreneur that took some hits along the way of building this business. But the business has been exceptional since it's been built. It's paid all of its bills on time. Everybody's giving the business credit. The business is getting and using that credit, and it continues to get more credit. And the credit bureaus say, this is an A+ student. Give this person money. Night and day difference between you having bad credit and then not having anything else or having good business credit. When we have this, the lender looks at this less because they understand that entrepreneurs take the licks to get the business built. But the question is does the business perform? If the business doesn't perform well and doesn't have good credit, then that solidifies that you're probably not going to pay the lender back. And remember, you can have bad credit when you have no business credit established. So the key is that there's no reason not to do this. We're literally feeding the lenders and credit issuers exactly what they want to see to open up that unlimited potential that we actually want to accomplish. So that brings us to personal credit, because we brought that up. First of all, you have to have good personal credit. You should. Now, don't get me wrong. There's all kinds of money you're able to tap into a get where personal credit doesn't matter. I can go get a credit card at every retailer almost without personal credit checks. I can get one at Lowe's and Home Depot and Staples and Office Depot and Sam's Club or Costco, or I can go get fuel at Pilot Flying J, or I can go to Nordstrom and get clothes, or I can go to other places like Business T-Shirt Club that sells, clothes. Not a Business T-Shirt Club. There's others that sell clothes like this. I can go to Dell and HP here. I got my anchor work, my screen right here, my Logitech screen. So I'm running multiple cameras right now. I've got my Dell computer, so I can get credit with Dell. Oh, I'm sorry, a Dell and an HP. I can get credit with Dell and HP. I've got this little guy here. I don't know what I would do without my iPhone, right? I can get credit with Apple to buy iPhones and be able to buy computers for every time an employee or somebody breaks one, which happens quite a bit. So you get the idea that almost everything I see here in my office, 100% of it is bought using business credit cards. And I don't need to have good credit for that. I can get business credit cards regardless of my personal credit quality. But at some point, I want to get a $250,000 credit line. At some point, I want to get a $50,000 loan. And when I want to go to get loans, when I go to get credit lines, that's when personal credit really becomes an issue. It's not when a business credit cards, I can get any number, I can get a Visa card, I can get a MasterCard, I can get any of that without a guaranteed credit check just by building business credit. But I can't get loans, I can't get credit lines just based on business credit quality. Other stuff like personal credit is going to come into it. And that's why it's part of fundability. You need to focus on building your personal credit as well and improving that if anything is wrong with it. Because it also calculates into other scores like FICO's small business score, Experian's blended score. There are business scores that take consumer and commercial credit into account. So we want to work on our consumer credit as well, because there will always be some aspect of personal credit with business lending. It's inevitable. And you hear from a lot of gurus that try to teach business credit nowadays. And I love people that are in the space that help people build their business credit. I don't like it when it's bait and switch and they're telling you false information and they're acting like personal credit doesn't matter. Personal credit absolutely matters. When you grow a business, if you want to be able to get the credit lines and loans, you want to be able to have it. But here's the trick. You've got to use it wisely. And that's the problem I see business owners make. They're using personal credit to go get a Staples credit card or a Visa card for their business or an Amex card, but you don't need to do that. You could build your business credit and get that without using personal credit. You need to be very strategic and only use personal credit and personal guarantees when you absolutely need to. And there's some loans that require guarantees and some that don't. And some require the credit checks and some that don't. And that's why you want to work with a broker like Credit Suite or somebody else that can help guide you to the sources who will approve you and keep you away from the ones that won't. But the trick is you got to use it wisely. If you're going to use personal credit, you need to focus on improving it and only use it when you absolutely need to use it. And again, when you separate personal or business credit, it gives you the ability to not have to use personal credit as much because you have that business credit asset. And also remember that personal credit, it protects lenders against surprises, judgments, tax liens, child support, UCC filings, personal financial turmoil. Again, these personal credit reports are used for lenders to detect a lot of the stuff. And this is why we've got to make sure that all of that stuff is in line, because banks don't want to sign up somebody that doesn't pay. And we got to think about that, because the main thing lenders look for, every question they ask us on an application, looking at our personal credit reports, looking at our business credit reports, looking at our bank statements, there's only one main reason they look at everything. And the one reason is are we going to pay them back? It's really the only main thing they care about. Are we going to pay them back or not? And the more likely we are to pay them back, the more likely we are to get approved for more money at better terms. The less likely we are to pay them back, the less money they'll give us, the more denials we deal with, the higher interest rates. So the key is we got to understand the one thing they want is, are we going to pay them back? And we got to make sure that our business credit and our personal credit reflects as much as possible that we can. We want to make sure that our balances on our credit cards, so our limits are low. We want to make sure we don't have open collections and derogatory public records and good history of paying our bills and good high credit limits. If we don't have these things, we want to work on fixing our consumer credit, because we can build business credit and let lenders use this as the primary driver, and personal credit becomes less and less and less important, but it's still going to be important. And by building it, it just gives us another strength in our fundability to help us get fixed, for help us get financing. So we want to remember, we want to come in and focus on fundability. We want to focus on building business credit, because that is the key for us to overcome these conservative credit, or these consumer credit issues. We also want to keep in mind that there's a lot of alternative lending out there where personal credit really doesn't matter. Okay, and I see a lot of business owners that come in and say, hey, hey everyone, it's the infamous Salad Queen live from Atlanta, Georgia. Let's link and build. I'm growing in every aspect. I love that. That's so super cool. What's up? Steve Reeves is in the house as well. We're going to talk about building business credit, and I will talk about that here as I wrap up, or as I get towards the end of the training. I'll walk you through that as well. But we also need to keep in mind that a lot of lending is available without good credit. So a lot of people say my credit's bad, I can't get money. That is absolutely not true. I can talk to you, more money is available to you with bad credit than you have to have good credit to get. So let me give you examples. I can get cash flow financing, merchant cash advances. I can get financing with PayPal, Square, Stripe. I can get credit lines that are based on my revenue. I can get financing based on stocks, bonds, 401ks, IRAs, book of business. I can use commercial vehicles, commercial real estate as leverage. I can buy and flip real estate or flip properties. That's just some of a multitude. It's list like 20 kinds of money I can get, business credit, that's not even based on personal credit. So don't keep in mind that I'm not saying you have to have personal credit to get money. There's all kinds of money that's not based on personal credit, but I want you to know it is an important factor for you getting the most money at the best terms. And so is your financials, right? Look, lenders don't like surprises. They want to be prepared. So they like documentation. They like when it's professionally done as well, like tax returns that are done by an accountant. You need to have a business checking account. You should consider a savings account. Consider a business money market account. There's a secret credit score called the bank rating. You'll never hear about it. If you go Google it, all you'll find is my training. I'm one of the only ones that talks about that amongst many other things. And your bank rating takes into account how many types of accounts do you have with your bank. Okay, you have a check systems credit score. It takes that into account. There are multiple credit scores linked to your banking history that take into account how many accounts you have with your bank, how many types. So have a savings account, have a checking account, have a money market account, even if you don't keep a lot in there. Have a merchant account where you're tracking credit card history. Have a checking account, savings account separate for the business as well. Now, if you go to get SBA loans and term loans, longer term loans with lower payments, they're going to want to look at P&Ls and expense reports and cash flow reports and balance sheets. None of this matters with 98% of financing. But with 2%, the best, the top 2%, the stuff we really want, SBA, this stuff matters. And it's all part of fundability. So we need to make sure that we have our financial reports in line. We don't need all this stuff to get a cash advance, to get revenue lending, to get a credit line, to get a PayPal, Square, Stripe, to get a business credit. We don't need any of this stuff. None of it matters. But when our business gets bigger and we want more and more money, it will matter. So just keep that in mind, that it is going to matter when you start to get that top 1-2% of funding that's out there. If you have an asset, document it. You have stocks, bonds, mutual funds, equipment, real estate, invoices. They want to document that. SBA loans want you to have collateral equal to what you're borrowing. So we want to make sure that if we have equipment, that we can document the value of that equipment. If we have real estate, we want to document the value of the real estate. If we have stocks and bonds and IRAs, they're going to want statements that validate that. That could serve as collateral for us to get low interest rate financing. If we accept payments from customers, we want to have an AR, or what's called an account receivable aged history report. QuickBooks, a lot of those places produce that. That kind of stuff gives us a lot of value to be able to come in and be able to successfully get money. Okay. And remember that when you get SBA loans, et cetera, they're going to want to see this stuff for anybody that owns about 20% or more of the actual business. And again, any of these things that you have, you want to make sure that you're documented. And if you have tax returns, have them produced by an actual tax accountant. That makes it even better when you're going to get loans like SBA loans. Now, the next is we got to focus on the application process, okay? So these are the steps to be able to get the most money at the best terms. We got to have a plan. We got to know what kind of lender and loan we're going to apply with, what kind of loan program we're going to apply for. And see, this is the problem. I talked to you in the very beginning about there being a cash access problem. And what I said is there's no shortage of money. There's trillions of dollars in the space that's ready to be lent to us. In a lot of cases, lenders are desperate to find borrowers that fit their requirements for that. The problem is that business owners don't know how to access the money. And I'll show you why. Because if we go in and we go into Google here, old friendly Google, which always is there to help us, and we type in business loan, right? How about this? I need a business loan. Then what happens is we get all these different options here, okay? Now, if we look at this and we say, okay, get approved same day, business loans based on this much revenue, right? Time in business. If I don't have any revenue, I can't get approved here. Here they want me to have revenue. I can't get approved without revenue. Apply for an SBA loan. I can't get this without good credit. They don't tell me that, right? Okay, then we come down here to SBA. Well, I can't get this unless I have good business credit, but they don't tell me that. I can't get this if I don't have good personal credit, but they don't tell me that here. If we look at this, how to get a business loan, when you good credit to get this, they don't mention that. Okay, up to $500,000. This is based on me having a consistent revenue, but you don't see that anywhere here. Business loans up to $250,000. Oh, wow. Okay, this is great. But guess what? If I have an 850 credit score and zero revenue, they cannot approve me. They can't. They're a revenue lender. But here's what's crazy. Look at this website. Do you see anywhere where it even tells you that you need to have a certain amount of revenue to get approved? Look at this. It tells you how much you can get, but it doesn't even tell you that their entire approval is based on revenue. So again, well, actually, that actually did. That actually gave us some kind of baseline there a little bit. So you get the idea that the problem is that there's so many different kinds of money that's out there, but in a lot of cases, we can't tell what we need to get approved for a lot of these sources, or a lot of them are based on one thing like revenue. But yet we've never even seen yet a source that says they'll approve us just based on credit or just based on collateral. So this is the problem, is that you got to know the type of program you're going to get, then figure out the lender that will lend to you. And this is where most business owners fail. There are literally hundreds of types of loan programs. There are thousands. There's over 10,000 online lenders out there in the alternative financing space. So you have to be able to know all the loan programs and the lenders to know which one works for you. And by the way, this is what I often run into. So I owned a consumer credit business. And as a result, a lot of my friends are in consumer credit repair today. They have very successful 7-8 figure credit repair businesses. And so they come to me when they need money and help for money. And they say, nobody will lend to me because I'm in credit repair. And I say to them, that's absolutely not the case. Let me get you to the right lender and I'll show you what will happen. And a buddy of mine came to me once. I'll give you an example. He said, hey, I need $30,000. I could pay it back over the next 2 months. Can you give me one of those like fast merchant cash advances? And I said, yeah, but I won't do that because they charge you 40% interest. How about a 1% interest credit line? Would that work for what you need? He's like, dude, you know I'm in credit repair. I'm like, I can get it. Do you want it? He's like, yep. Got him a $35,000 credit line with interest rate of 0.5% every week outstanding. He ended up paying like less than 2% interest for the money that he borrowed. And he came to me stating, I can't even get approved. I'm willing to pay the highest interest rate that even exists. So what happened there? What happened is that I know the lenders that will lend to credit repair. I know the lenders that will lend to the pot industry. I know the lenders that will lend to home health care or to transportation. So what I'm saying is that there's plenty of lenders that won't, and there's some that do. And this is why knowing the right kind of loan and knowing the right source is so essential. And it's also why it's great news for you. If you've been turned down before and you think no one will help you because you've been denied, that's just absolutely not the case. The reality of it is it just all comes down to you having the right lender and the right source. And again, you need to get your timing application done when you have your fundability correct. You need to make sure that you need to know that you can negotiate. Once you've done the stuff we talked about today, you know you're an awesome business lending candidate. Now you can even negotiate to get all the approvals that you want. And that's the 5 right there. That's the 5 steps that I've learned through 50,000 business owners on how to actually be able to come in and succeed getting access to unlimited capital as you build these things. You got to build that fundability the right way. We got to build those business credit reports as well. When we want that high-end money, we got to kind of start worrying about personal financials. We need to come in and set our business up and get our personal credit in line as well. We need to understand the right lender and the right source to apply with. That's really the key to making it all work. Now, what's going to happen now, if you want to stick around, is I'm just going to give you a shortcut. I'm going to now tell you the how to get it done part. So we've talked about the 5 steps, and it might be overwhelming. I'm going to simplify the whole thing and show you how to all the fundability aspects in one place. And when you get it done, this is what it looks like. If you put together everything I've taught you today, this is exactly the outcome. I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to walk through this because it explains exactly what I just told you you could have step by step as he actually succeeds. So I'll give you the quote first. Quote from Josh Elledge here in Orlando. One thing that's beautiful about Credit Suite is that you start with baby steps. The first thing we did is get a couple of revolving credit lines and store credit. Then we graduated to gas cards. Then we ended up getting a very nice line of credit at Amazon. Then we worked our way up to getting a very, very nice SBA loan. Thanks to Credit Suite, we were able to really get our business finances in order from a quote, what looks good, unquote, to potential lenders and potential creditors, and we became very attractive to lenders. The best options are always available to those that have their credit game locked down, and that's what Credit Suite platform allows you to do. We've been able to make smart investments in staffing, marketing systems, sales systems, product development, all these things before Credit Suite we really couldn't do. I just don't have to stress out as much because we've got money in the bank to take advantage of opportunities. I'm not as stressed anymore. I can keep a bank account that has plenty of cushion in there. And that cushion, just honestly, it makes me a better dad. It makes me a better husband because I'm not stressing out. So I love this. And every time I mention this testimonial, my hair stands up at the end of my arms because I have kids. They're 11 and 13. And I've been on both sides of this. I've been with my kids where mentally I'm not present because I'm trying to figure out how to meet payroll. And I've been with my kids where I'm 100% present, where I don't even think about business. That just happened last week. The last vacation of the summer, we went and hit water parks and SeaWorld and everything in Orlando. Okay. And I know the difference between being there and present with your family and not. And it comes down to having that peace of mind that Josh is talking about. Now, let's walk through his testimonial. What he says here is, hey, we got what looks good to potential lenders and credit issuers and became very attractive to them. We got that figured out. This is what we talked about with these initial fundability steps we talked about in step 1. Then we started coming in, we started building business credit, right? As he says here, we came in and we got these credit lines and store credit, got gas cards, credit at Amazon. We built our business credits, what he's saying. Then we got a very, very nice SBA loan because we did all that. He couldn't get an SBA loan because his business credit wasn't built and his fundability was all jacked up. And once he did all that, then he became attractive to lenders. Then he came in and got the SBA loan. Then he invested in what he calls smart investments in staffing, marketing systems, sales systems. And then he built a 7-figure business. That's exactly what happens. And by the way, he continues to build the business bigger and bigger and bigger now because now he understands the formula to tap in to get near unlimited capital. So how do you do this? Well, as you can now see, you can get money even if you have bad credit. You can get money if you don't have collateral. You can get money as a startup. You can get money if you've been turned down before. Your business can get fundable. That's the beautiful thing about everything I've shown you today is that it's all fixable. It's not stuff that can't be fixed. My business partner, Megan, and I were in a meeting today, and she said, all of this stuff is a disaster in this department of the company. And she said, this is fantastic news because every bit of it is stuff that we can fix. We get really excited when we find ways that we're losing money, not serving our customers the way we should be, because it gives us easy things we can fix to fix that problem. And that's exactly what you've learned today, is that these are all things you can fix. And by becoming fundable, that's what opens up these opportunities for you to be able to get money on demand. Now, you're watching this because you're probably looking for the easiest and fastest way to get money. And more than likely, you probably struggled to get money before. But we think that you should be able to get the money you need when you need it. But the problem is, if you don't know these approval standards that lenders or credit issuers have, if you can't access all the lending that's available and the different lending programs, and you can't build your business credit, if you don't do all the stuff we talked about, well, then you can't succeed. And that's where we have a solution called the Business Finance Suite that actually does just that. It actually helps you do all these things to get the most money at the best terms. Okay, through it, you improve all aspects of that fundability foundation. You build business credit and take years off the business credit building process and do it in months instead of years. And it's one of the only places in the United States you can access all funding in this country in one place. Every legitimate funding program is in there. Finance officers that help you through the process. Almost every case study said the best part of the program is coaches that walk you through the process. Our coaches literally walk you through the entire process so you don't get stuck listening to bad information and delay it for years. You do it through our step-by-step technology along with our advisors and finance team that help you through every part of the process. Now, you might be thinking it doesn't work for you, but the nice thing is it works for every kind of business, profit, nonprofit, no matter what industry you're in. And you may think you can do it on your own. But are you positive you have the most up-to-date information and that you're not learning from people that actually don't know what they're doing, or that you're really going to be able to do it as good as you could if somebody held your hand through the process, right? I don't know of anything in my life I can do better than somebody that has that 10,000 hours of expertise can teach me how to do it. You might even be thinking you're not ready, but you're in the right place, because I'm about to show you how to actually get all of this and do it cheaper than you'd even be able to build your own business credit by yourself. So look, our platform helps you do everything we've talked about: setting up your business entity, your name, your EIN, setting up your address where you're credible, getting your phone number listed in the right directories, including 411, setting up your website, your email address, your licensing, your compliance, your bank account, your merchant account. Our team in tech walk you through every aspect of building that fundable foundation. We get you set up with Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, Experian. We get you your DUNS number, which Dun & Bradstreet was charging $1,500 for. We help you fix business credit with all three of the reporting agencies so you get better terms because your credit scores are higher. We give you access to the largest starter vendors to start building business credit without guarantees or credit checks. Hundreds of vetted vendors to build your business credit portfolio, not thousands of sources that don't even exist when you Google them because they were out of business years ago, because it comes from a system that we abandoned 20 years ago when people are still selling with outdated information, right? This is actually real vetted. We have a data team, and the only one in the business credit space has a data team that legitimately all they do all day, every day, is they call every single one of the sources and verify their underwriting requirements. We literally tell you who to apply for in what order, and we even give you the underwriting requirements for every source so you'll know you get approved, and it's all up to date in real time information. As a matter of fact, my email is flooded with changes. This person moved to tier 1. This person moved to tier 3. This person no longer reports. This is a new company that reports, because our data team is constantly on that, getting all that up to date information. The largest amount of store credit with underwriting guidelines, Visa card, MasterCards, auto financing, fleet credit, most of which you can get without a guarantee or credit check, and there's no guesswork. We map out the exact steps, what to apply for, when to apply for it, and our coaches help you through every aspect of the process. You also get access to traditional SBA loans, alternative lenders, cash flow financing, asset-based lending, unsecured financing up to 150 grand for startups, term loans, lines of credit. All the funding is available in our system as well. Fundit, I just talked to them today. Fundit's a great marketplace for financing. They're coming to us for all the people they can't help. That is my world. My world is all the online fintech lenders you see out there that are offering you these great ways to get money. I'm the one, Credit Suite, we're the one that helped them get all those people money when they can't get them money. And the reason is because we work with all types of financing, not just one or two that they do. And that opens up the door for you, because instead of going to them to get to us, you start with us and we can help you get placed with your own finance team with the right lender and the right program, so you don't waste time. You get the money you need when you need it. You're getting 24/7 access to our system, the coaches, the setup, help with setting up your entire business, your merchant account, the setting up with the bureaus, fixing inaccuracies that you may have on your business credit reports now. And also, if you are interested in getting started and working with us, then I want to throw in a bonus for two reasons. First of all, you stuck out around here with me for 90 minutes. And second of all, we just find that in helping 50,000 business owners through this process, there's two types of entrepreneurs. There's ones that see it and go, yep, taking action, done. I'm going on that right now. Those people always have the best success. No matter how we measure it, the people that see it go, that makes sense. I want it fast. I want it right. I'm going to do it now. Those people have the best success, and those are the ones we like to attract as clients. So we're going to give a $10,000 bonus bundle just because you're getting started this week if you're that person. Now, if you're the other entrepreneur, that's okay. It's okay to be conservative and say, I don't know, and I'm going to try this on my own. And 5 months later, that didn't work, and my business could have grown, but it didn't grow. And, I don't know. And a year later, show back up, and that's fine too. But the bonuses aren't meant for that entrepreneur. It's meant for the entrepreneur that goes, I want it fast. So the first thing is celebritize your brand. This is the world's #1 branding expert, Ray Perez. He's got a My360 site. He's also got a business branding boot camp you're getting free access to as well. Helping you get your message matched with your perfect avatar. We've got a course here by best-selling author Dolores Hirschman. Speaking of best-selling authors, Howard Shore here has wrote 2 best-selling books on how to maximize profitability. And this course itself is worth $800 on how to basically how to manage human capital so you can actually work on your business, not in it. Gino Wickman, best-selling author of 2 books, Entrepreneurial Leap and Traction. He's giving us 11 different tools, especially if you're just starting a business. 1, 2, 3 roadmap for startups, My Vision Clarifier, as well as matching you with the right business, amongst many others. Accounting Secret Blueprints, all the stuff we need to know about accounting, but we don't. 100K real estate payday, how to make your first 100,000 in real estate. A lot of us need to know this. With the real estate market changing, there's a lot of chances for us to flip homes and make money, whether we do it primary or on the side. This teaches you how. Fundability in a flash. We'll spend 30 to 60 minutes with you on a call to get your fundability foundation built out. We're going to give you DMB, Equifax, and Experian for free for 90 days. That's worth about $750. 90% discount after that. So instead of you paying $250 a month to monitor your business credit reports, it's only $24. And since we focus on getting you money, not building your business, we went to all the best sources in the space and got all their courses, and are now giving you our Business Builders Bundle with over 30 courses, guides, blueprints, tools for generating leads, branding, marketing, advertising, funnel building, product pricing, social media mastery, viral video marketing, and rapid business growth. This is thousands and thousands and thousands of courses that we've got permission to be able to get access to you for, so you don't have to pay for them, and everything you need to grow your business. Multi-million-dollar valuation tools so you can get a valuation for your business. I literally right now am in the process of getting a valuation. This is how much it is. It's staggering. It's mind-blowing. $45,000. Literally. Swear to you, to get a real business valuation done, we were spending $45,000 to get it done. This gives you access to be able to get valuations with your business anytime you want it. Now, we've got a whole accounting firm doing it. It's a whole different layer of valuation. But 95% of the purposes you need a valuation for, this tool gives you valuations whenever you need them on demand. So over 10K worth of bonuses I'm throwing in as well. And you can see here what that looks like. So if you've kind of kept up so far, here's how much you're getting when you enroll with us. About 12 grand worth of purchase value, over 10 grand worth of bonuses I just showed you, over 23 grand worth of value. If you're getting started with us by this Friday, it's only one payment of $29.97. You can also get financing with Credit Key. So we offer financing that's less than $600 a month. We also have a financing source where if you have some kind of revenue and even lower credit score, lower 600, we can even get you started with credit key for payments less than $300, about $275 a month as well. So we will help make payments affordable for you. We'll customize payments for you as well. We've got a lot of options. If you want to work with us, we'll make it affordable to do so. We're going to give you access to everything, even when you make your first payment. That's how confident we are. You're going to love working with us and our team. Most of the time, you're going to have to decide between time and money. You don't have to do that here. You'd spend 24 months extra trying to do this on your own. We're going to save you 18 months or more. What would that mean to you? If you got the money now versus waiting 18 months, like only you can answer what that would do for you. Plus, you don't have to pay for DUNS number, 411 setup, valuations. So it's actually cheaper to work with us than even try to do this on your own. So again, a lot of value you're getting, a lot of different bonuses you're getting here as well, and multiple different options to work with us as low as less than $300 a month with credit key. And by the way, I'll give you a secret. Not only are we going to get you here, but if we get you approved here, you get a credit line you can not only just use to work with us, but a credit line you can use for other purposes as well. So we can even talk to you about getting a credit line that you're using to enroll, which a lot of our clients do, and then using that credit line to be able to come in and be able to use it for other things your business needs as well. And by the way, all you have to do is give us a call for this free bonus package that I talked to you about in the beginning. And all you have to do to get that is give us a call right here on this number, 877-600-2487, and we will give you that free finance assessment, DMB Equifax Experian for free, the finance assessment, talking to you about all the funding you can get, and a fundability assessment as well on everything you can fix regarding fundability. That's a lot of stuff. So bottom line is you can go down the path of working on this on your own, try to follow people's advice, take a lot longer, and spend more money figuring it out. But we could just help work through it with you, right? And then all your fundability is done the right way. You overcome all those hurdles. We come in and talk to you about the stuff that you need help with preparing the business financials. We come in and help you through the aspect of getting your business credit reports established, of being able to set up your business. By the way, we even help you get your check systems credit report and LexisNexis credit reports at no cost, and even give you tips and tactics and help you improve credit with those agencies as well as the main reporting agencies. We walk you through every aspect of business credit building. If you've ever looked, we are the GOAT in that space. It's nobody's comparable. Talked to Fundit today, and I said something similar. I said, look, we're by far the 800-pound gorilla in that room. I said, I don't mean to boast. And he said, oh, you don't have to. He goes, I've already researched. We're talking to you because we've already done the research to know you are the biggest player and the most credible player in that space. So you're learning from the best to expedite that process and accessing all funding in one place with a full finance team and coaching team. I mean, and you get 10K worth of bonuses this week as well. So I think it makes a lot of sense, but I want to answer any and all questions you have. So I got a bunch of questions in multiple chats. I'm going to go through them as quickly as possible here because a lot of people are answering my questions as well. So I want to make sure you get your questions answered. Okay, sweet partner. Okay, offering business credit. Okay, David Sider. David mentioned this here, and I'll pull this up on the screen if you're attention live. David says, hey, I'm interested in being a business credit partner. Keep in mind, if you talk to our team, there's two sides to what we do. We help you get business credit financing, improve your overall fundability. We also help you with offering business credit financing as a service. So if you want to add it to your primary services, or if you want to add it and make it your primary service or add it as a secondary service, we have a whole aspect of our business that just does that and helps you actually offer business credit financing as a service. And you can make, typically our average partner makes $2,000 for every sale they make. So if you have entrepreneur friends like David here, then go ahead. You want to talk to our team about that. And full income disclaimer, how much you make depends on how much you charge. Like with our system, you buy from us wholesale, you sell retail, decide how much you sell it for. I'm just telling you on average what our client makes based on the average price that they sell it for. Okay, so again, if you want, talk to our team. We'll talk to you about the partner program as well. A lot of hellos here from all over the country. What's the secret to getting Home Depot business credit? My client's an RE rehabber with tier 1 vendors. Well, the reality is the key to Home Depot is how many accounts you have on the business credit reports. So Home Depot wants you to have $1 million in revenue or 3 years in business, or you should have probably 8 or 10 accounts on those business credit reports before you move forward and get Home Depot. Okay, so that's just a question. Now, again, the key here, and I don't know if Blair, and I don't know if Blair's an active partner or not, but again, the key here is how many accounts you have on the business credit reports. And a lot of the people that you'll see offer business credit financing in the space still come to us for the advice because they I don't know how these things work. But how these things work is it depends on how many accounts you have on your business credit reports, just so you know. Okay, I'm Ultimate member. Hey, just signed up. Congratulations. We talked about that. Nonprofit, we talked about that as well. A lot of people are typing in no to not knowing their NAICS. And so I am bootstrapping my business and trying to get the credit so I can get the better equipment. Yeah, but that's a great point. But the other thing that you want to think about is that there's equipment financing for that purpose. And a lot of equipment financing you can get with bad personal credit. So it's worth giving us a call because equipment financing, equipment leasing, equipment sale, lease back, 200 sources we have that offer equipment financing. We can help you with that on top of getting business credit. So something to keep in mind there. What about lending for commercial photography? Absolutely. Look, if you follow the steps we talked about today, it's going to work for any industry, including commercial photography, although I don't know what your NAICS code is, if that's what you're asking off the top of the head. Steve says, as a used car dealer with about an 850 credit score, lots of available credit, I always need more. A few years back, several brokers said they could get me an SBA loan. I'm just going to open this up while I read it. Said they could give me an SBA loan, but all I found SBA does not offer loan on used car inventory. I even called, I even called a Credit Suite a few weeks back. After checking what I said, even Credit Suite agreed that they could not on SBA loan. Yeah, the SBA loan for used cars isn't going to work, but probably still need to do a fundability check. You do, Steve, but the other thing that you know, there's floor plan financing. What you're describing here is floor plan financing. Floor plan financing can help you do this. It's specifically financing that's designed to be able to finance the floor plan of cars. So that's something that we can help you with and talk to you about as well. But that might actually solve your problem there. And again, this is the problem if you don't have access to all the different funding options. You might not know that, but there is a floor plan financing for what you're talking about. Peter says, does utilization matter when it comes to business financing? With personal credit scores, it does. With business credit scores, it really doesn't, just so you know. It is a FR. I want to be a partner. And do you have a loan broker program? Our partner program is a loan broker program. We basically teach you everything you need to know to offer business credit, offer financing. We give you a full back office to set up clients, manage clients. We give you everything you need to market it, marketing flyers, PowerPoints, videos, website, everything you need to launch your own loan broker company. We actually is part of our partner program. That's what our partner program is designed to do. What if you have your DMB, EIN, and are needing business credit for an online business? You could do it, but our diamond, give us a call. Let us do a fundability check before you start building credit. Let's see where your fundability quality is, because that really is going to tie in to your ability to be able to come in and be able to get funding for an online business. But so far, it sounds like you're on the right track. Hey, Ty, I love your lights. Timmy, okay, you got the sauce. All right, perfect. I appreciate everybody coming in. And let me go ahead. I got a bunch more questions here, so I'm going to go ahead and answer those. Can you help me get funded for my Shopify store? Absolutely. Vince, there's a great program out there. If you go to creditsuite.com/inventory, and that program will get you 100% of the money you need through crowdfunding to fund an e-commerce business. All the money you actually need to buy the inventory that you sell online, you can get. Now, you have to have 150,000 in sales first, prove that you have something that will sell. But if you do that, we can actually help you with that funding source to get you financing for 100% of what you're selling online. Look, e-commerce business is the biggest expense you have is the inventory you sell. So we've got programs that will fund that for you through crowdfunding. Within an hour, you get the funding, and then you pay back the funding as you sell whatever it is you get. So a lot of our clients use that. We can absolutely help you with that without a doubt. Okay, I am Deantris. And by the way, if that doesn't work, you're just launching it. We've got a lot of startup funding that can help you launch it. Then as you make sales, that program can work after. Hi, I'm Deantris from Birmingham, Alabama. I'm in the process of starting my 4D imaging studio. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Transportation business. A lot of people. Food delivery here. Independent contractor. Hello from Phoenix, Arizona. Bob Morris, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you coming in and saying hello as well. How do you get funding a startup without a personal guarantee? So look, the answer with the personal guarantee is this. Personal guarantees are required when your business can't stand on its own. So if you want to get financing without a personal guarantee, you have to go through the steps of building business credit. When you build business credit, then you're able to start being able to get bit credit without a guarantee. Now, keep in mind, you can also use collateral to get away guarantees. Stocks, bonds, 401ks, IRAs, a lot of financing linked to those kind of assets you can get without guarantees as well. So hopefully that answers your question. Just pay off $5 upgrade, just can't get approved for any other personal loans, which goes, shouldn't have paid them. So the credit score doesn't matter with personal loans, Vince. Typically, they're looking at debt ratio. So if you're looking at Lending Club and those kind of guys in the personal space, I wouldn't be as concerned with your credit score. I'd be concerned with your debt ratios. That's what they look at. And the bigger denials I see come from that space just become because your income compared to all the debts that you're showing is not high enough. And so hopefully that helps you there. I've not been able to get funds from any bank or the USDA government. I created an LLC so I could get money, yet can't get a dime. Okay, so I want to pull this up, and I think this is very important to show you all, because this is something very typical to what I see with a lot of business owners. A lot of business owners start a business and think just because the asset of the business is created, that it gives them the ability to get money. And that's absolutely kind of the case and not. What I mean is just because you set up an LLC doesn't mean you're going to get money. That's not even close to the step that's needed. But if you followed my training here today, you would be able to get money. If you came in and set up the LLC and you got the address separate and the phone number and the email and all that stuff we talked about, then you start building business credit reports, then you will be able to get the money. The entity itself being set up isn't what will help you get money. Going through these steps and setting up the fundable foundation and establishing the business credit, that's the key. So there is truth to the idea that once you have a business, it opens up the ability to get money for the business. But a lot of people don't realize that just because you have the entity set up doesn't get you money. The building of the fundability foundation so you look credible, and then building business credit is what you get money. So you're part of the way there, Anthony. You just got to keep going through those steps that we talked about today, and that'll help you actually get that end result that you're talking about getting. Agricultural insurance agency. Myron, there's a great financing out there called Book of Business Financing, which works really good to expand an insurance industry or get money for an existing one. So that's something to keep in mind with as well. And our team can help you get connected with somebody that can help you there. And Anthony says, I can't get anything for anything. I can't get money to buy land and build a house. I live in Washington State. So land financing is not easy to get. It doesn't really exist. Most of the time you're going to get money for land, you're going to have to get it some other way. You could look at personal loans for this that aren't associated with the land, but separate personal loans, a home equity line of credit if you already own an existing home. If you're tapping into business financing for that and you have good personal credit, there's a great program called Credit Line Hybrid that can help you. Or there's a lot of other ways you can get business financing, but using it to build a personal home, a little bit different. But again, those can help you. Also, construction or perm loans are out there that can help you too. So hopefully some of that can provide value. I'm Nigeria. Can I benefit from Credit Suite? Well, kind of. If you have a business in the United States, you can build business credit with it. But you're not going to be able to get loans or credit lines in the United States unless you have a United States Social Security number or a TIN number. So like if you don't have a business, if you don't have a social in the U.S., you're not going to get a line of credit or a loan, but you can get business credit cards if you open a business over here. And May says, what if the company has been set up with these services, but I need to make sure everything is set up correctly? Can it be done? Yeah, we do this with a lot of our clients. So if you give us a call, we can do a free business a finance assessment. And then that's part of our team. If you're working with us, we go through all this stuff and help you make sure it's all set up for you the right way. I cannot see the chat. I'm on a limited account. You might not be able to see the chat, but I can see the chat on my end. Okay, back to beehive. Okay, here's Anthony again. Beekeeper, farmer, trying to get back going. Do my beehives being stolen? Oh, sucks. Who'd steal beehives? I lost a profit. I'm able to get any funds for anything. We can. It's just we got to look at your strengths. So when it comes to getting immediate money, do you have good personal credit? Do you have collateral? Do you have cash flow? One of those three things is needed to get a loan or a credit line. If you don't have those three things, we need to create a lendable asset, which is where you want to build business credit. And Dimitri says, very profitable meeting, tailor-made renovations from Detroit. What's up? I appreciate that. This is amazing. Thank you. I have a DMV number, SAM ID registered with SAM.gov, but having the hardest time with getting government contracts. Do you help with that? I need business funding without personal guarantee. I'm not the government contract dude. There are people out there that do that. That's not my thing. You want to get set up with the SAM number, as you already know, SAM.gov. That replaced the DUNS. Let me clarify. DUNS number is still there for business credit building. Just the government now uses the SAM, or you go to SAM.gov to get the SAM ID. That's what they use now in lieu of DUNS. So that part, you got to go to somebody else. Getting money without the guarantee, we can help with that. Give us a call and we can talk you through the exact steps of that. I need startup funding. It doesn't ask for revenue because I haven't sold anything yet. That's no problem, Vince. But again, you got to look at the strength. If we talk about getting lending, we look at 3 pillars: credit, cash flow, collateral. So you're a startup. So we eliminate cash flow. You don't have it yet. So then they're going to go off of collateral, some kind of asset you have, or your good credit, or a guarantor's good credit, or business credit. Those are the next 3 options to get money if you don't have cash flow. But if you have like good credit or a guarantor that does, we have a program called Credit Line Hybrid. You can get up to $150,000 in credit lines as a brand new business. If you want to talk more, give us a call. We can talk more about that as well. Is there a better way, a business loan? Is it better to get a business loan or apply for business line of credit? We can answer that based on your individual situation. The answer is it depends. If you're going to a big bank like Chase, it doesn't matter. Their line of credit and their loan is both SBA. You've got to meet the same requirements either way. If you go through a place like Fundbox or Blue Vine, well, they're just looking at your revenue. So your credit doesn't have to be good. You're able to get that just based on revenue. Other loans are available just based on revenue, but have higher interest rates. So there's so much different types of financing. You got to look at what you're using the money for. I want a line of credit if I want to be able to use it whenever I want to use it and reuse it. I want a loan if I know there's something right now for. That's how I typically look at it. If I just need to be able to reuse the money whenever I want to access it, I get a credit line. If I need money now for something I'm going to do now, then I want a loan. May says, what if an existing company has been set up with these, sir? Okay, we talked about that as well. Most business credit cards require pretty G. That's my understanding. And Walter Crafton here says this, and I want to point this out. This is absolutely not the case. Let me give you what I'm talking about. Business credit cards require a personal guarantee unless you've built a business credit profile where you don't need the guarantee. So what I'm saying is that Visa cards, MasterCards, Chase, Dell, American Express, HP, Apple, gas cards, none of that, you can get that both ways. I can get it based on consumer credit quality and provide a guarantee, but I can also get it based on business credit quality. So you can absolutely get almost any kind of vendor credit. What I mean by vendor is a vendor is a retailer that sells stuff. Nordstrom, Macy's, Apple, it's a store. So vendors, they all offer credit lines for a business and for a consumer. And in order for you to get the business line without the guarantee, you have to build your business credit profile enough to get it. And somebody just asked, Blair said, hey, how do I get Home Depot? Well, you have to have more accounts on the business credit reports. The more accounts reported on the business credit reports, the more tiers of credit become available without a guarantee. So it's absolutely possible. You could definitely do it. You just have to build your business credit. The more you build your business credit, the more tiers of credit become available without a guarantee. That's exactly what we do here. Most of the credit we get somebody doesn't have a guarantee. If you want to talk more, give us a call. We can talk you through that. That's also part of this special where you can go to creditsuite.com/webinar to access that as well. My business address is the same as my personal address because it's home-based business. Should I offer? Okay. And so look, these are just really, really good questions, which is why I want to share it for you here. So you're saying my home address is my business address. Should I get an office for the address? What I suggest is that you get a virtual office through one of 3 sources: Alliance Virtual Offices, Regus, or DaVinci. Alliance, Regus, and DaVinci are not digital mailboxes like iPostal. They're real physical addresses. And it can make it look like you occupy like a big high-rise building here where I am in downtown Tampa versus working in a home. And it gives you a lot more credibility. If you work out of an office, it gives you more credibility than working from a home. If you work from the home and your address is your home address, it's okay, but some sources won't approve you. So I'll give you an example. Amazon has no problem approving people for corporate credit cards without guarantees or credit checks using a home address. Walmart will absolutely not do it. They won't do it. So that's just an example of 2 different vendors. One doesn't care if you use a home address and one does. And that's the way Fundability works. A lot of sources don't care. and other sources do. So the best way to do it is just to make everybody happy and go get a virtual office instead. Do you know any lender who could give me a 6 to 10K loan without using my paid off car for collateral? It depends on the type of vehicle, but we do have lenders that focus on financing where they use vehicles as collateral. So if you give us a call, that might be something that we can actually help you get to the right source. Anthony, I currently live in an apartment. My wife, children, think of my credit report, student loans, but I'm not able to get work to do the income of my shoulder injury. And that's a tough situation, Anthony. Hopefully you're able to shake that off. But starting a business is something you could do from home. And I think that's what you're working on now. And Lori says, we use cell phones for business. Do we need to have a business line set up somewhere else? You absolutely have to, because what happens here, Lori, is lenders and credit issuers' computers, and so does ours, by the way, it tells you the kind of address and phone number somebody's using. And you speak to the exact problem with why people don't get financing. You're using a cell phone, you put it into a lender's computer, the lender throws up a red flag and tells throws up a red flag and tells the lender itself, hey, this person's a problem. They don't even have a business phone number. They're using their cell phone as their business line. You lose all kinds of credibility. And this is the kind of stuff that gets you denied. And this is the kind of stuff you want to fix, because oftentimes that's why you're not getting financing. It's not that you don't qualify. So some things to keep in mind. Is there funding for down payment assistance on a house? I can buy houses, no money down. There absolutely is. If you're flipping the home, there's something called flipper financing, house reseller program. We've got one of the only sources in the country that'll do it if you have no experience and no money down, which means you can get 100% of the money you need to buy a house and to flip the house. And a lot of our flippers use programs like Credit Line Hybrid to get money to buy houses. Then they use business credit to fix the houses and flip them. So there's multiple ways to do this. If you're talking about it being for a flip, you can give us a call and we can talk through that with you. And that's all part of our system as well. Can I use the account for different businesses? You can. I use Opus for my virtual office. Is that okay? I don't know enough about Opus to speak to them, but I would make sure that they're a real virtual office, not a digital mailbox. And Alliance, DaVinci, and Regus are the three most credible that we found. I use Google Google Business Phone for my business phone. That works too. iPostal is something you should stay away from, because iPostal is a digital mailbox. So let's talk about this, because this has actually come up multiple times here. So what I mean by that is that there's two kinds of virtual addresses or offices. The first is what's called a virtual address. It's a digital mailbox. A digital mailbox and a virtual address example is iPostal and UPS. Okay. These are places where you don't have a real business office you can operate out of. It's just a mailbox. So those are virtual addresses. iPostal, UPS, you don't want to use those. What you want to use is you want to use a virtual office. A virtual office is Regus, Alliance, and DaVinci, and they buy floors or rent floors of these big high-end buildings like I am in downtown. And then what they do is they then use that office space and they rent the offices within that space. So when you get an address there, you're getting a real office location address in a real commercial building. You don't get that same thing if you're using iPostal. That's why you want to stay away from digital mailboxes, virtual addresses, and you want to focus on a virtual office of Alliance, Regus, or DaVinci, something like that instead. Now, that being said, I promise to stick around to the end of the questions. I have the questions all answered so far, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Don't forget, just because I'm out of here doesn't mean that your questions are done. You get a free finance assessment as part of this training, which means we'll go through your fundability. We'll go through your business credibility. We'll talk about the financing you can qualify for. All you have to do is give us a call or send us an email. You can also schedule online at creditsuite.com/consult. And also keep in mind, there's a difference between our initial team you're going to talk to and our advisors. A lot of people get our initial team on the phone and they're asking them advisor questions. There's advisor questions where our advisors who help tens of thousands of people through this are better to work with you as clients to navigate through the process. So we got no problem doing like what I'm doing in our team, helping answer some basic questions for you to know where you are. But the deeper your questions get, the more they become apt for an advisor to handle than our actual team. So keep that in mind as well. And our team might even say that, hey, that's better for our advisors. But keep in mind, we make it super affordable to work with us. And all these questions are very typical of what most business owners and entrepreneurs have. Think about not having to worry about it anymore. If you need money, you just email or call your team. Your whole team is there to help you get money. Think about if all the fundability stuff is built out step by step and you have coaches to help you through it. A lot of these unknowns and questions you have wouldn't be there if you were surrounded by a team that carries you through the process. That's exactly what happens when you're working with us. So I just want to throw that out there that if you want the easiest and fastest path to the most money at the best terms, we can help you do that and save you years of this, get you way better terms and a lot more money than you're ever going to get on your own. So give us a call. We can talk to you more about that as well. Phone number of, I'm not sure what that means, Steve. Ask me that again. And great explanation, Ardime, about virtual office addresses. I'm glad you got value from that. Is business cell phone an acceptable phone number? You cannot list a cell phone with 411. That's the last thing you want to do. You've got to stay away from using a cell phone as your business phone. This is a huge red flag for lenders and credit issuers. You have financing for multi-family property. That would be four unit would be commercial financing, commercial real estate. And yeah, we've got financing sources that SBA and non-SBA. We've got a lot of financing sources. Give us a call. We can talk to you more about that. So I'm going to wrap up. Just because I'm out of here doesn't mean the questions are done. Give us a call. We can talk through this with you. It all comes as part of our free finance assessment. We can also talk to you even more about exactly your unique situation and the easiest and fastest path to be able to get you money. Here's our number, 877-600-2487, info@creditsuite.com. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for tuning in for the 5 steps to get funding on demand. Now we broke down a lot of those barriers. You know there's a path to success, and you know there's a lot of easy stuff you can fix. Give us a call. Let us talk you through the next steps so we can help you be able to get the money you need when you need it. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.